Don't adjust your dial. We are live. Yes, 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 yes. It's
Live,
that
live,
time.
live.
Yeah. And boy, do I have some stuff for you today. Oh boy, do I. More interestingly enough, we do have a guest with us. He is having a little bit of technical difficulty, so he'll get in here shortly. And as he checks all his settings and stuff, and like does like this to tell me he can hear me, then we'll get him up in here and we'll introduce him. No, he didn't do it. Okay, well, I'm assuming he can hear us now. Can you hear us? Yes, but he's still freezing up a little bit.
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm just trying to deal with the internet connection.
Okay. Yeah, I know what that's like because that internet connection.
Hey, good now. Am I freezing?
Um, unless you're holding really, really still, give a big smile. There you go. So, let me give you guys an introduction, ladies and gentlemen. This is, let me just say it's my distinct pleasure to introduce our esteemed guest for today's episode of Paranormal. It's the one, the only, Kevin Cain. Now, for those who don't know, Kevin is a luminary in the world of haunted artifacts, a collector with a profound understanding of the paranormal, which we'll talk about a little bit here in a moment, and an accomplished author whose latest works promise to, well, say, enthrall and captivate its readers with an unparalleled passion of for unraveling the mystery that surrounds haunted dolls. Got that one for you coming up too. Kevin's expertise has not only garnered recognition, but it has also shed light on the fascinating stories and energies that emanate from these enigmatic objects. Now, we say it that way because, well, most of the time we just see them sit there. We're going to talk about that. In addition to his extensive collection, Kevin has recently unveiled a remarkable book, a testament to his dedication and deep insights into the supernatural. Through his writing, he invites us to embark on a journey that transcends the ordinary and ventures into the realm of the extraordinary. Now, so without further ado, let's extend that warm welcome to the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Kevin Cain, whose presence promises to illuminate our understanding of the paranormal and inspire us with stories that he has to share. Mr. Kevin. He's like, yes.
I hope I can, because I still seem to be freezing up here.
I see that. So, one thing I did want to do is I'll tell you what, Mr. Kevin, if you can hear me, I say reset your router. While you reset your router, I got something that's going to probably put some chills up and down some people's spines. Okay? So, Miss Annie, I know you hate when I do this.
Yes.
Especially since you have to go to bed earlier than I do.
Yes.
Okay, so what I have for you tonight, believe it or not, comes in the realm of, well, let's just say, darn right creepy. Now, when I say darn right creepy, this was something that threw me for a loop and put chills down my spine. Okay? If it made me have chills, imagine what it's going to do to any of our viewers.
Well, let me say this. If I have nightmares and fall out of bed, I'm coming after you.
Yeah, to give me a good excuse to get you into Texas. Anyway, I'm going to let Bizarre Bub, who actually puts together these scary compilations, describe what we're going to see here, okay? So just listen carefully to his little story and what's going on. And you do have to listen to the sounds.
In a previous video, I talked about a family in India who's been documenting unusual events inside their home. The family has seen more than just a couple of things move on their own, but also other small incidents that seem to hint at something way bigger and perhaps dangerous. From their house being suddenly infested with hundreds of maggots, which appeared out of nowhere as they played holy music throughout the house, to occasionally hearing the pitter-patter of invisible footsteps late at night, the family can't help but think that a curse has been placed on their home. They believe that ever since letting go of the maid who took care of them, strange things have been happening. The maid, according to them, is responsible for the strange activity. Although having seen some crazy things, it's the most recent occurrence that's by far the strangest. It's late at night when the family is woken up by mysterious noises. This is what was caught.
अच्छा, रुको मैं भी हूँ.
नहीं तुम बच्चे के साथ रहो मैं तो वो डरेगा
Daddy, can I go?
नो मामा यू टेक केयर ऑफ मामी डैडी विल कम सून
Okay.
Okay, as I see Annie cover her eyes, let me first reassure everyone this is not a jump scare.
Okay, thank you. I hate jump scares.
Yeah, trust me, I do too. I'm not a fan of those. But what does happen in here towards the end, you have to understand it builds you up to the end. So, what does actually happen and listening to the sounds will creep you out. And that's all I got to say. It is a situation. And also, if you guys, as I mentioned, you can see down in the corner there is the name of Bizarre Bub, B-U-B, who
Okay.
actually put these videos together. And you guys can follow him and check out some other pretty creepy stuff. But thanks to him, we've got a couple that we're going to talk about tonight. At least one that also includes a doll, which I can't wait till Kevin's in because I want to see his reaction. So let's go back. What you're hearing now or seeing now is this family lives in a one-bedroom apartment. Okay, now that's crazy to us in the United States, but in some places that's normal. They heard noises. And so now he's going to investigate. And this is what he uncovers. So pay close attention.
पूरा सामान गिरा हुआ है या इधर भी पूरा कवर गिरा हुआ है
Mysteriously, a mess has been made throughout the house. But most chilling of all is the video of how it all happened, which was captured by the security camera inside their living room. Take a look.
Now that's some loud banging. That would get your attention.
Naturally, the family was left unnerved, but they were left even more so by an incident that took place only a few days later. It's past midnight when this is captured.
Baby, are you awake? Baby. Please stay outside, please. You just scared me.
Similar to a previous incident experienced by the family, the sound of small footsteps are heard running about without a trace. Now, given that the family has experienced this before, the family's not as scared or phased as when they first encountered this. It would be the following incident, however, that changes that. Only a few nights later, this was captured.
Okay, before we get into it, do we have Mr. Kevin very well in there? Maybe not? Sort of? You're muted if you don't know that. So could you hear the footsteps?
Yeah, it sounded like something scuttering or skittering, about.
Okay. This is where things make a big change. Trust me, it will put chills down your spine.
The father is seemingly pushed by an unseen force. He quickly falls over while seeming a bit disoriented as he tries his best to figure out what just happened. It is only seconds later that he realizes that something had touched him. While the family continues to document these chilling occurrences, viewers continue to suggest that they move out of the house as soon as possible. The family does plan on doing that, but it won't be anytime soon, as they have to make certain arrangements before doing so. Unfortunately, for now, the family has to endure whatever strange occurrence is thrown at them. Just like before, there have yet to be more updates on the situation of this family. If you caught something creepy on camera,
So, yeah.
So they fired the housekeeper or something?
And then they believe that she cursed them. But that's not the part that kind of put chills on me or in my spine for that one. What really got me was if you hear the footsteps come towards him, you could hear like a kid as they're pressing on him. And that's when he falls over. Now, you could see from their camera, from that high angle, the guy falls over, but you can see he's terrified at this point with his camera because he's shaking while
Yeah, I would
walking.
be too.
But yeah, talk about scaring the bejeebers out of you. So, do we have you back now, Mr. Kevin?
I think so. It's still pretty shaky, but I just came on in here to the office where I'm right smack next to the
Router.
little Wi-Fi tower here because I don't know what it is with this laptop, and I don't know why my phone, for some reason, live stream only, it won't let me hear people. Y'all can probably hear me, but I can't hear, and it's only on StreamYard. That happened earlier
Really?
this year when I tried to do one with the bicycle chick or the motorcycle chick that does the paranormal stuff, and I think I might be freezing up again here.
Yes. But while we have you, what little bit we got you,
Am I freezing up again?
off and on. I actually saw a picture of
Okay.
you. Now, I need to know something because I'm chuckling. I really am. But I'm kind of more curious if this is in your house, and if it is, oh my goodness. But I can't find the picture now. I thought I saved it. Um, but it shows you standing next to a bunch of dolls, including the doll from the movie of Annabelle. No comment.
Uh, uh, yeah,
He's freezing up again.
I do have. I have a replica of the movie, the Annabelle movie doll.
Okay, so what we did catch out of
In my
that was
back.
he has a replica of the doll. That's all I got out of that. So, how did you get this doll?
Yeah, I
That's
do
what
have the
I want to
replica
know.
Annabelle, and they have those at Trick or Treat Studios, and I don't know how much
Oh,
they are
okay.
now. They're very expensive.
Yeah. It was kind of funny to come across this picture, and when I did, I was like, "No way! Would he really? He did get a, So it's just kind of trying not to laugh, but it is funny to see that. And here's that picture. And if you guys notice, just look right in the center
Oh,
of
he's
it.
got
There is
Chucky too.
Chucky too.
Yeah,
Yep.
there's
And I saw
Chucky and
you have a
Annabelle.
picture of the nun.
Yeah, I do have a replica of the nun painting, but I was
Oh, okay.
saying too. What I was saying too before right when I froze up, I've also met the real Annabelle and had my picture taken with her, which should be out
Yes.
there on my Facebook page. That was almost 2 years ago, and now since then, strangely enough, they've been doing those cons each Halloween, but now they want to allow photos in the artifact room. So I don't know if something happened. But
Um,
thankfully, when I went, I got to have my picture taken with Annabelle.
yeah, I'm kind of curious with the Warrens passed on. Last I heard, John Zaffis is running everything, and it's kind of you can't really go to the studio or the whatever you call that now. Is
Yeah,
there
the artifact museum.
yeah, are they just not letting people in, or are they more concerned about the couple of incidences that did happen with Annabelle?
They had to stop letting people in because of some zoning issue, so blame the city for that. But because they used to have it open
Oh,
all the time.
goodness.
Well,
But
see, Annie, you got to remember there was several incidences where people picked on Annabelle while it was in the museum, and then
That's
there was
really stupid.
yeah, but that's not the worst.
there, there was a motorcyclist who went in there, and this was back maybe in the 80s or 90s, back when Ed Warren was still alive, and he would take people on a tour through it. And the motorcyclist, when he got to Annabelle, he started taunting her and saying, "Do something to me." And I think he cussed at her or something. And Ed Warren told him, "You need to leave now." And he
Yep.
escorted him out. And they said it wasn't 2 hours later, maybe less, that that same guy died in a motorcycle accident on his motorcycle.
Yep.
So coincidence, or
I
could
don't
that have
believe
been
in
Annabelle?
coincidences.
Not all the
See,
time.
I have to agree. I mean, Kevin's got the good point there. It's very true. You know, I mean, we're talking about a very sinister doll that to this point I'm lost on one thing. The Warrens had ways of destroying these things, but they refused to because they believed that it would allow whatever possessed it to move on and go possess something else.
Oh,
Now, not by what I've learned in the training of removing those kind of things do is that even possible. But Kevin, I don't know. Maybe things have changed on how they do it. What is your take?
I I've always uh, thought don't destroy the item itself because it's just going to piss the spirit off. Is what I've always thought. I don't know about if it's going to possess you and do all this other stuff, but I think at the least it might get pissed off.
Yeah,
Going by some past experiences, I've never had any of mine destroyed. I keep mine. Most of mine are positive. I've got a handful of negative ones. One I have is very Annabelle like, and I keep her. In fact, she might have been the one that was messing with this earlier. I keep her locked up in the case in there with holy water. And had I been able to stay in there, you could have seen her in the background, but this thing was just freezing up and going wacko. And I've had some weird incidences lately. In fact, a couple of nights ago, I haven't shown it yet. I'm a little nervous about it, but I did catch a photo of what looks like somebody sitting on my kitchen floor
oh
a
my.
few nights ago when I heard a couple of tapping noises. I'm going to show it on my video this weekend when I do a new video for my YouTube. I haven't downloaded it off my phone yet, but what happened was I'm sitting in there where I was earlier on the couch watching TV, all those dolls behind me, and I hear a tapping noise on the floor in here in the dining area. And my cat perks up and she's looking directly over here near where I am now. There's a doorway leads in there. So just what I normally do when that happens, and if my cat is reacting, I start snapping pictures. And I usually don't catch a dang thing. And I'm sitting there just clicking away, going, "Yeah, nothing's going to happen." And I go through them, and I'm glad I did a series of them because there's a little bit of a before and after. But right in there, you see what looks like very faded a little figure, maybe a little girl wearing a dress sitting on the floor. Very transparent, very faded looking is the best way I can describe it. I had to zoom in because I saw first it looked like just an oddity in the shadows there near the table till I zoomed in and there's hair and a little face, and what looks like her knees curled up in a dress. And I have not caught anything like that here since I lived in this house the last 3 years. I've seen a couple of apparitions early on in my collecting days when I first got Patty, my first haunted doll, and then Andrea and a few others. I started seeing glimpses of little figures in my old house. When I moved here, it sort of died down a little bit. Now it's starting to pick up,
Right.
starting with it was late last year, early this year. I caught on video during one of my sessions with one of the dolls. It was actually a haunted Jack in the Box clown, and I have one of those light up moon balls sitting on the little stand, and it was on the opposite side of the coffee table. That sucker, first I hear a little rattling noise, and I got quiet, and I kept filming, and then I stopped the camera to get up because I thought my dad might have gotten up. He lives here with me now. I come back, I pick up right where I was and continue filming. And I not only do I hear the noise, but that moon ball leaps off the table and lands on the floor. Didn't roll, it practically popped up off the stand like somebody had thumped it. And I almost reacted with, oh my God, oh my God. But then I got up and walked around because I said, I need to show people this is for real. And I got up and walked around the table and showed the moon ball. I picked it up. I turned it around to show that, this is just, it's not a toy. It's not supposed to move. Oh, this is a video I did this past Saturday, I think.
Couple of days. Well, yeah, it's listed as being up about 4 days ago, but yeah, I was actually watching this. So for those who don't know, while we would think this is Patty, it's not Patty. This is Heather.
Yeah.
Now I I'm not at the I don't have the sound on, so nobody's gonna quite hear anything of what's going on. But Annie, this was really interesting. The there was
Well,
some there was a sound. You actually could hear the girl's voice in
is
the
that
very
a Chatty
beginning.
Cathy?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a chatty baby. What do they call it? A tiny chatty baby. It's the baby sister
Oh,
of Chatty
oh, okay.
Cathy.
'Cause I used to have a Chatty Cathy when I was a kid.
This one,
it's
when I
funny.
first got,
I never had one of those. Um,
I never
If
had
I
one either.
find one, I will send you one.
right. But in the very beginning of the video, he didn't have, well, this little bottom part down here where it says listening. He didn't have that loud enough. But what I noticed, Kevin, and I think you want to go back on this video and do this, or I'll put on the audio here in a little bit and we can see it and listen to it together. But no joke, the voice that you hear is not the same voice as that. It is a higher pitched female voice, almost like a little girl's voice.
I gotta go
I
back
don't
and
know if you
listen
caught
then.
that. Okay.
I've not.
All right.
I'm guilty. I've not gone back and listened yet. I posted it, but I
Okay.
didn't go back and listen. I know during that video, what looks like three ghostly fingers pop up in front of the camera.
Oh, there was
At
a
one
couple
point.
of strange events going on in this video. Yes, I totally agree. And while you do get some audios that come up, which probably, what are you using? A ghost box?
Yeah, this is the Ghost Tube app that's got the Ovilus. It's got that Seer where it creates pictures with AI, and then
Right.
it's got the Ghost Box without the static.
Okay. So, folks, if you've not seen any of his videos, some of the things that he's done is really cool. And one that'll blow you away is the dolls singing. His dolls
Yeah.
can sing. Yes. I was waiting for him to lose it.
First, I was thinking back way long time ago. I got singing off of the Ghost Box, but now I know. Yeah, you mean the little
Yes.
thing I did back in
Yes.
July when my dad had surgery. I wasn't able to do these videos, but I would do little shorts and things.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I
TikTok.
laughed. I laughed. I was like, I got that app. I know that app.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
the reface, and I've been having fun with those things.
Oh, they're a blast. All right, so here we go. We got audio. We're at the beginning. If you listen very carefully, you are going to hear a different voice. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
She does look like Robin, but she's not Robin. Oh, I saw a little orb. Heather, I've had for about 5 years, and sadly enough, my fault, I have not introduced her on the channel yet. Now, she is a little bit older than Robin as far as the spirit. I think Heather is.
There it was.
I can't.
Yeah,
Okay, I didn't have the.
So listen
okay.
again.
Not Robin. Oh, I saw a little orb. Heather,
I heard
I've
it when
had
I was
for about 5 years, and sadly enough, my fault, I have not introduced her on the channel yet. Now, she is a little bit older than Robin as far as the spirit. I think Heather is.
So you get this
I
higher
can't.
pitched female voice than what that computer voice is that you
Yeah.
get later on. And so I actually wanted to ask the question, are we actually getting a real EVP, or is this box?
It's supposed to be the box. I have the volume down. I think I turned it up after that, but I didn't pay
Yeah, you
attention
do.
to I saw the I can't pop up there, and I thought I heard her, but
Yeah, you could
I haven't
see it
gone back
right
and
there.
played it on here. I just assumed the volume was down, and
Yeah.
so I don't know. It does sound a little, but you can see the words I can on there too. It displays the words. So whether it was the ghost or that voice app going funny, it
Right?
registered it on there because that was kind of higher pitch.
It
I just
was. It
didn't go
was a
back and
lot
play
higher
it.
pitched. Now,
Sometimes it takes me 3 or 4 days to go back and play it, and
well, this brings me to a question for you. So I'm switching up the video here so people can see what we're going to talk about. So in this particular video, again, this is from, hold on, I got to go, Bizarre Bub. Thanks to Bizarre Bub. This is another one of those videos that we have. But it's in Spanish. It's this team that's investigating, and they get some weird activity with a doll. Now, Kevin, I want your input on this for a reason, because what happens with this doll is not normal in some cases. Now, let me back up and explain this a moment. So for those who don't know, just for a brief second, the Annabelle doll, when the nurse had the doll, there was a moment where it was standing up by itself. Now, if anyone knows these Raggedy Ann dolls, there is nothing that
There's
holds.
no way.
It was, according to this nurse and her
I've got
roommate,
one.
it was standing on its own, and they tried to repeat it, and it would never repeat.
here I can
So-
show mine right quick. Is over here. Oh,
Is-
there she
I was
is.
gonna. There you go.
Yeah, I got a Raggedy Andy on my dresser. And always make sure they're nice and sitting up and saying, sorry if I knock you over. Or, hey, I'm not taking any chances.
Right, right.
People might think I don't care.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what happens with these guys? They're doing. I'm going to ask you about her because she was in one of
Pretty.
your pictures. She's a
Yeah,
beautiful doll.
she's got quite the history. But she's a
Ooh.
very sweet girl.
She is
Okay.
pretty.
Well, let's get to her history, but let's do this video first
Yeah.
because I want your take on this, and then we'll get to her history. All right. So
Something
again,
touched my
as I
face.
was mentioning, these guys are investigators. They're Spanish investigators, so you're going to have to read the words that come up if you want to know what they're saying. But one of the comments one of the guys made cracked me up. You'll see which one it is. But what happens is unexplainable. So, Kevin, you're going to have to really give us your input on this. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go.
Urban explorer Lalo Escalante is at a cemetery with a friend when they come across a small crypt containing a life-size doll. They take a look inside and see that the doll is standing upright against the wall. There's something about the doll that unsettles them, and so they immediately proceed to walk away. But after only walking a couple of feet, they capture this.
¿Quién está aquí con nosotros? Queremos verte. Queremos que te manifiestes. Ubaldo, la puerta, mira, 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 güey. Puerta, güey. Mira, güey, se abrió. Güey. Ay, la madre. Estoy cagado, güey. Estoy recagado, güey. Esta madre estaba cerrada, cabrón. Esta madre estaba cerrada, amigos. Esto estaba así. Mira.
Watch carefully.
Esto se abrió sola, cabrón. La muñeca se movió.
Okay, that did it.
La madre, güey.
That
La
did
madre,
it.
güey. Se movió la muñeca, güey.
So, obviously, you can hear these guys are their reaction. Annie had hers.
I have actually seen that before a couple of times, and yeah, that's one of my favorites. I think just knowing where that doll is locked up in a or stuck up in a crypt there, it'd be hard to kind of fake that.
Very much. And if you looked in the beginning, you could see all those flowers in there. So there was, I mean, somebody would have to get in there. But here's the thing. Everything he said in Spanish, which I did understand, that was real language. He was really terrified. So it happened.
That was real. And I have seen, we had two of my dolls way back, what was that, 4 years ago? It was before the pandemic, 4 or 5 years ago. I used to do Abnormal Alabama with Dr. Kelsey Graham on Tuesday nights. And I would go in there. I would go in their studio in the beginning of it, and we would film live here on the same thing, StreamYard and everything. Then when pandemic happened, we did it from our homes like this. But in their studio they used to have, their little office area, I had two dolls they had just given me. And they were sitting up close toward the camera. And as we're talking to our guest who's on here with us, the dolls suddenly shift and lean closer to each other. They move around. One of them's eyes blink.
Oh,
and
boy.
I saw it out of the corner of my eye. I was looking at it. I looked up. I thought the doll was about to turn its head, but it was just wobbling. And the guest started pointing. He could see it from where he was. And he's pointing, going, yeah, I see that. And Kelsey's over there. He wasn't looking. What happened? So we went back and played it later. But yeah, you can see that they're sitting together. All of a sudden, they just sort of lean together closer. And this one blinks its eyes. And that's wound up. That's gotten viral. It wound up on one of those Nuke's Top 5 videos. Somebody sent me the link to it. The guy with the surfer dude voice that talks like this. And I was like, man, I made it on his channel, Nuke's Top 5.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious. So, and if you guys noticed a moment ago, there was one book that's up there. We're going to show you one of Kevin's newest books. But The Dark Side actually is a new one to me as well.
Yeah, that one I just wasn't long ago. It was less than 2 years ago that came out. I did put out 2 books last year, and then that one was right before those. And I got a brand new one that just came out last month. But yeah, I mentioned earlier my Annabelle-like doll. That's her on the cover, that really pretty Victorian-looking doll. That
on the
there's my new book.
This is the new book, yeah. Urban Darkness, Tales from Legends and Lore. We need the surfer dude. But, yeah.
Tales from Legends and Lore.
But yeah, I mean that's so you guys, if you haven't gotten any of Kevin's books, you can actually go to Amazon and just type in Kevin Cain, and you do get all his books. So you got to go check him out because it's totally worth getting his books
Yeah.
and just enjoying every moment of them because there's some interesting things in there.
And you can get autographed copies at myhauntedolls.com, and
Oh
it's on
yes,
Kindle. And I do
I
have
forgot that.
a couple of them are actually on audiobook. One I narrated it, and the other one a professional actress did it. I can't think of her name right now, but she did a fantastic job.
I'd
Um,
rather have books. I like the feel of books. I
yeah,
have a Kindle, but
Oh,
there's
don't get me
something
wrong.
about a book.
I love my books. I got certain books I won't give up, but
yeah, I do too.
I for some reason I read better on a Kindle. I don't understand the difference.
I can get them cheaper on there, but I still buy, especially my older favorite books. I keep those in hardbound. I still buy paperbacks, especially
Right.
if you're going to go on a trip somewhere where you might not get a signal. How you
That's
going to read
Oh,
the
exactly
Kindle?
what I did the last time.
that's what I that's why I download most of my books. So
Yeah,
signal or no signal, I got it.
yeah. I have to download mine, and then it starts. Your storage capacity is okay. I think I have
Yes,
enough.
exactly.
My stupid Amazon
Exactly.
Fire Kindle thing. It's supposed to be the best thing, and it freezes up, and you can't get enough on it, and all that. And
Yeah. So introduce us to this young lady.
yes, this beautiful young lady came to me from my friend Cherie Shoon, who, if you think I've got a massive collection with over 300 dolls, she has a house full. She has me licked. She's got almost 700 dolls in her house, many of them life sized. So, and I've
Good
spent the
Lord.
night there, and I love them. A person who's not into this would probably get the hell scared out of them walking in there, especially that life size clown sitting back
Oh
waving.
yeah,
That's
okay.
me.
That yep. Heck please.
That's me.
But I've slept there in her doll room. She's got a guest bed, and I'll sleep there with these hundreds of dolls lined up from floor to ceiling around me, staring down at me.
All those eyeballs.
And I've woken up there feeling something poking me, and one of those nights I was there with her. I got up to go to the bathroom, and the shower door was pulled wide open, and I asked her about it the next morning because they were all upstairs asleep. I said, "Did you come down and open the shower door maybe to let your dog go in or something?" Nope, that wasn't
Wow.
me. I
Oh
said,
shoot.
one of your babies did it then." but but Alice is her name, and she came from there. In fact, I remember seeing her there when I spent the night. So when Cherie was ready to rehome her, I was like, I'm going to take her because she's one of
Right.
those that I would feel sort of a connection with when I was visiting there. So
So what's wrong with her? I mean, why what do people think is happening surrounding her?
I didn't know, so I thought, well, this will be the perfect time because Cherie's got so many. And a lot of them is real simple. All they, was a child who just passed away from a fever or an illness way back in the days before medicine, all that stuff, basic stuff. Then you've got your tragic ones. And I didn't know when I got her. I'd message Cherie, and sometimes it takes her a while to answer back. She's got big kids, little kids of her own, and
Right.
and a whole lot going on. So, but I did the video with her, and little did I know what I was going to find out. But I was getting responses on the Ovilus and the Ghost Box, like things like "I can't talk about it." She would say, "I can't talk about it," things like that. When I would ask what happened to her, and I did the seer thing where image comes up. Allegedly, the spirit can create an image on the app, and she put up a picture of what looks like a coven of witches standing around a fire. I was like, "What the crap is this?" And I thought this has got to be something that Ghost Chief's doing on its own, trying to be scary. Sometimes I'm skeptical about that thing. And there was something else that came up, a girl weeping or something like that. I think it was a girl weeping. And then I'm trying to remember. I have to go back and watch the video. It's been a couple of months, but there was a lot of spirit box responses about the necrophonic meter was coming up. I'm scared, and they might come or something like that. And the necrometer works like an Ovilus, but it displays the words like what we saw earlier. But it's a really cool app. And but it was words like that. I'm thinking this child seems very scared. So yeah, there's the video if you want to play it. But Cherie finally gets back to me and says, "Oh, I'm sorry I didn't tell you about Alice, but she was about 14 years old and she was killed by a cult who had kidnapped
Oh
her. It was
goodness.
like a coven, and they kidnapped her, raped her, beat her, and killed her. And she doesn't like to
Oh,
talk about it." And I'm thinking about all these responses I got. That's when I did this follow up video to let everybody know what I'd found out. Because I'm like, this is spot on with the picture I got, the responses I got. It was just amazing. Yeah, if
right.
you want to play that video, that tells the whole thing right there. After I do my shameless plug of my Redbubble store.
Okay. Well, I think we're gonna have to. All right. Yeah. Let's do the stop the share for a second so I can add audio to it. But yeah, it's you okay? For those who don't know, you can actually go to Kevin's Facebook page. I mean, sorry, YouTube page, which for those who can't tell, it is My Haunted Dolls. And on that page, you'll find all the videos, including if you subscribe and hit the bell, you could follow him and find out when he's live and check out episodes of whatever doll he's talking with next. So I am kind of curious which doll will be next. But for now, let us find out what is on the video.
And now on to what I learned about Miss Alice. Now, she did come from my friend Cherie Shoon in Georgia, who has a massive collection of haunted dolls. Shout out to her. If you haven't joined her Facebook group on creepy dolls and paranormal experience, be sure to go out there and look it up and join. It's a great group. People share about their haunted items and their experiences, and you may even find a haunted doll or item to adopt out there. So be sure to go out there and join. But according to Cherie, I'll go ahead and read the message. Loved your video of Alice. I really was surprised you were able to have her speak.
Can I ask a question?
Okay.
Does Alice's eyes move?
Nope. They're not supposed to. Nope.
They're solid.
They're solid.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh-oh. Did you see them blink or something?
No, actually, I'm noticing a little different. So, like where she's at, I'm going to put you guys side by side like this, okay? So, if you notice in your view right now, she's kind of trying to look towards the camera. But in your video, she's watching you.
Oh.
Look at the
Cool.
eyes. Can you see that, Annie?
Yeah.
She is clearly looking at you.
She is looking at me. That is really cool. Thank you. I like that.
Yeah. I
She's
did not
watching.
expect that. So that is that's why I asked if the eyes are fixed or do they move or because I know like when they pour some of these dolls, the eyes are all part of one just one piece of plastic, and then they do all the painting and so forth. So that's why I was asking. But if you clearly look at her, like she's very attentive. Like you can
Yeah.
see on the live video where you're holding her, she's trying to watch the camera or look at us directly.
Yeah, we got a bit of a connection, so you can see it evident here. She
Yeah.
sits here next to me every day while I work, so
I love her nose. It's so cute.
Oh, she's
cute
to me
nose.
it looks like a
What
real
nose?
face. Yeah. It really looks
She
like
looks
a real person.
she
Yeah.
does. It's very I can't even remember what type of doll this is, but it's one of the very realistic. It's better than the American Girl doll. It looks very real.
Oh yeah,
She's not
she's
very old.
amazingly real. I mean, look at that
Look at the
face.
eyes. I mean, it is amazing.
Yes,
And it
yes.
feels kind of real, except the only difference is you feel the hardness, but it's almost got a bit of a fleshy feel to
A,
it, just
a
hard.
texture. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I noticed earlier when we were first talking, I was like, she looks like she's watching the camera or the monitor to see us talking. So she's being attentive to our discussion. No matter which direction you move her, it's like the eyes are still right there, which
Yeah.
kind of makes you say, oh, do I get creeped out? Or
She doesn't creep me out. I like
no, I'm not saying, yeah. And I didn't know the backstory of her. That's even more interesting because that really makes it,
Yeah.
yeah.
It
Um,
impressed the hell out of Cherie that she gave me any kind of responses because Cherie told me later, she's like, yeah, I couldn't get anything out of her. But Cherie's
well,
sensitive, so she picked up on what had happened.
yeah. I
But she
think
couldn't get
one
any.
of the things that you've proven over time is that you've been able to make a connection with certain dolls because you're not being the aggressor in this particular case. You're literally showing the empathy, you're showing the willingness to listen. And that's
Yeah.
something that most when we learn as paranormal investigators, that's what most spirits just want, somebody to listen.
That, and I'll just treat them like if like with her, especially with the young ones, I just treat them like they're my own children. I treat them with love, and it
Yeah,
definitely gets a response because I mean, really, they are their people. They are people. They're just spirits,
yeah.
just in
Well, there
spirit
is a
form.
there is a question that I was asked some time ago for you, and I'm going to ask for you now. Is do you ever get an uncomfortable feeling, or maybe just when you kind of know I don't need this doll here? There's a problem.
The only time I've really gotten that, um, it's definitely the Lori doll that's on the cover of that My Haunted collection, The Dark Side. She's my Annabelle, and when she first came, uh, just backtrack a little bit. What happened is eerily similar to the Annabelle story, and which made me skeptical at first. So the way the person reacted and what happened, I was like, yeah, they're being serious. But this lady reached out to my Facebook page saying we had a mutual friend who pointed her to me. She said, I bought a haunted doll off eBay. The lady who sold it to me claimed it was a spiritual guide, an angelic protector. And she said, I always wanted to try out a haunted doll, and I get it here. And we've had her 2 weeks, and both my roommate and I keep having the same violent nightmares. We wake up with scratches. It makes me feel sick. And
Sounds like the Annabelle.
the last straw was when she woke up one morning to icy hands choking her. She literally almost couldn't breathe, and she could barely speak, and she started just something told her say the name Jesus, and she said Jesus, Jesus over and over again, and the hands relaxed and disappeared. So she felt like saying Jesus' name frightened it away, which means this must be something demonic. So she's
Right,
telling me all this, and this was going to be. I've had some negative spirits and a mirror I had to bless, but other than that, I've never had to bless anything strong before.
right.
And I
Yeah,
learned watching John Zaffis how to do it, and he has some information online too about it. And I'd successfully bound a mirror, but this was the first time something really, demonic was going to be coming. So, but I said, I got to help this woman. So I said, I'm going to have faith in God here. And I told her, if you want to send it to me, I said, I can't, pay anything. But she goes, I just want to get rid of it. Where do I ship it? Where do I ship it? Just tell me. I said, well, I can help you with some shipping. No, no, no. Just tell me where to ship it. Well, if somebody's trying to pull a fast one, they'll be like, I got this scary doll that's terrorizing my family. You can have it for $1,000. Well, if
Yeah,
it was
right.
really terrorizing your family, you would want to get rid of it, period, not ask for money. But this woman was, and she was dead serious. The next day, UPS comes wheeling up to my house with an overnight package, and the
Wow.
UPS driver is usually friendly. But with this time I went to meet him at the door, I heard a thump outside. And when I opened the door, he was hightailing it back to the van. He had thrown the package down and was hightailing it back to the UPS truck. And I didn't see him again. I was wanting to see him again and ask him what happened.
Something happened.
Something
Yeah.
happened. I can picture
Yeah.
that box banging around in the back of his truck and scaring him. But I never saw him again to ask him, "Hey, are you okay?" But he peeled rubber out of there, and I was feeling nauseous already just before the package got there. And I started wondering, this can't be a coincidence. I'm starting to feel sick, and this package has now arrived.
Wow.
So I pick up the box and bring it in, and my cat usually loves to hop up on the counter and watch me open a package, and she'll try to climb in and sniff. I set the package up on the counter, and she comes up, but instead of her usual jovial, happy self, she stops and she arches her back, and she turns around and runs to my bedroom and dives under the bed and hides.
Dang.
That's clue number 2 that something is wrong here. Well, maybe 3, because here this woman has paid, I don't know how much money to overnight this box to me.
Overnight. That's a lot of money. Yeah.
Uh-huh. She's dead serious. So I had my blessed crucifix I'd received from a priest several years ago. So I put it on, did exactly like Zaphis was teaching. Got my holy water, got an extra protection with some blessed medallions, and even a dupe stick from India that's supposed to help drive out bad negative spirits. So I've got it lit, and I've got my holy water, and I stand that doll up, and I've got the case ready to put it in because I had one on for just such an emergency. And I'm splashing that thing with holy water and praying the Lord's Prayer and asking to bless this thing, bless that doll, cast this thing out, bless the people who have had it before, bless me so that I also am protected. And all of a sudden, I feel a yank on the crucifix, and it was tied with this tight rope that the priest had made. It all of a sudden snaps and just falls right off my neck.
Mm.
And most people would panic at that moment, but in my head, I remembered
Can't.
one of my sensitive
Yeah.
friends telling me, "Don't show fear; they feed off of it." So right away, instead of reacting, I acted. I bent over and I picked up the crucifix and I put it on the doll, and I kept splashing. And I did that until my nausea went away and uh, the environment around me felt lighter, and my cat finally came out of hiding back into the kitchen.
Wow.
So I said, it must be okay. So I put it in the case, and I put holy water all inside the case, and I sealed it up, and that's where it stayed. And I usually pray every night anyway over my house. So it gets some prayer nightly.
Yeah.
But since then, it's not bothered anybody except one of my teammates from my paranormal team came over when I was having a little party and letting them see the collection and do a little fun investigation. He cannot stand dolls. So
Wow.
this was odd that he was the one that this thing picked out, because he got over close to her and he started looking at her, and he kept looking, and he turned around and his eyes were bugged. Just why, he goes, Kevin, can I take her home with me? I got to take her home with me, Kevin. And I'm just blown away because this is not my friend here talking. And I said, Darius, let's get you out of the room for a second. So I got him out of the room into the hallway, and one of my sensitive friends was also blown away because she knows him. She's like, he don't like dolls.
Right.
So we get him out to the hallway away from the doll. All of a sudden, he's just fine, and he didn't even remember asking to take the doll home. And today, if
Wow.
you ask him, he'll look at you like you're crazy. And I think that was her way of trying to escape.
She
So I
tried.
tell people, ignore her, don't look at her, and I did the same when I went to meet Annabelle. I told myself, don't look her in the eyes. Something told me, don't look her in the eyes. So I looked at the case, I glanced at her, and then I got my picture with her, and I got out of there. And I expected something crazy to go on. I meant to mention earlier, when they do their when they show off Annabelle now, it's in a convention they do now. Since they can't let anybody go in the museum, they have their Paracon every Halloween now, where people can come and meet Tony Sparrow, the Warren's son-in-law. He runs the museum now, so he'll bring some of those items to the hotel, to the convention, and you can go in and see them, but you can't touch, and now you can't take pictures anymore.
Yeah.
Something must have happened after that first con a few years ago.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have to ask the one question. Now, this kind of throws this in a weird loop, so to say, because see, we've always heard about uh, attachments.
Hmm.
How is it that none of the spirits that are connected to these dolls find an attachment to somebody else or something else?
Has they don't attach to something or somebody else?
Yeah,
I think well, as far as a person, and this is going to kind of get into more of a religious thing, but for me, I always thought God won't allow, a spirit to really attach to a person. And
right.
really with the items like this, they're not so much, it's not like Alice. She's not inside there going, "Oh, let me out, let me out." She's,
Yeah, right. No, we
I
already
feel like
know which one that is.
yeah, I feel like, how kind of they haunt a house, they can haunt an item. Just, they're just with it, they're around it, and you can say, attached. But I
Yeah,
do have things other than dolls. I've got some paintings that have had activity. I've got some old tools. I've got some Civil War forks. I got a little pair of little boys' antique shoes from the 1800s. So I've got different items that have spirit attachments. But dolls seem, I don't know what it is. It's because they look so, much like people. And maybe it reminds them of somebody, or maybe it's something they owned. Like my Patty doll, Patty owned that doll. And it was her only
right.
toy when she was alive. Her mother was awful. It was a drugged
Yeah.
up prostitute who didn't take care of her, and really caused Patty's death by leaving pills out where Patty could eat them, thinking it was
Oh my
candy.
God.
But because that was her only toy when she died, her spirit stuck with it, because I feel like it was her safe place. But since she's been with me, even the last lady, my friend who had her, couldn't get her to really open up. But once she came to me, she opened up. I saw her little apparition in the mirror one time. I've gotten her little voice on EVPs. I've felt little tugs on my shirt and
Yeah.
things like that. That, past owners, they would hear things, but they couldn't interact with her. She wouldn't do that. But somebody told me a few years ago, I've got some kind of this peaceful, sweet aura that they're attracted to, and it makes them feel relaxed around me. And I tend to believe that, I guess, because the
Because
other
we can
thing
see
is,
that. Yeah.
You are a heck of a nice guy.
Right.
the other
I
thing
like
is,
you.
the other thing is when they'll be some of them will be really active where they were, and they come here and they're active for a few weeks and then they calm down. I just saw something go behind me. Did y'all see that? Like a
I've
No.
little
been
light.
I've been watching behind you for a while.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me tell you what I've seen so far. And
Uh-oh.
Annie, I'm going to actually go back and review this after it's done. So before you picked her up, I could have sworn I saw a shadow of a man behind you.
Oh, jeez.
But I
Okay,
don't
you
know.
guys are really gonna make me stay awake all night, aren't you?
Coffee? You need some coffee? No. But then I also noticed, and Annie, you confirm this or not, ever since he started holding her, he's really not had internet issues. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
I've not. In fact, the longer I've been in here, this happened before a few times. So I wanted to be in there so you could see all the dolls in the background and all that, but there's so much energy, and I said that's got to be what's messing this
Right.
up.
Well,
But I
see,
come in
that's why I
here,
say I've seen the differences ever since you started holding her.
yeah,
So yeah, there's a major thing. Now I'm gonna assume, since I don't see the ceiling fan, you must have another fan blowing.
yeah. There's a vent down on the floor, but the air conditioner
Okay,
is
because
on
I
right
see
now.
the
So
the blinds moving. So
okay,
that's the
yeah, that's probably what that is. Oh, I wish it wasn't, but yeah, that's I
Which
love
could
when
be
stuff
picking
gets
up dust.
captured.
Yeah. Well, these cameras, the good, not hers, but these. I'm
Not
gonna pick
mine,
on her.
no.
Yeah, we
She's got
can't
that
see
smoky
it.
quality.
Right.
I can't figure out why. I really don't.
But these. She's going to turn off all the lights.
I like too. So.
But these webcams, they're really good and very sensitive today. And so they do pick up different things. Now, one of our co-hosts, which she's not here tonight, is Pam. Hers has a unique feature, and I've only seen this on a couple of other people, where it auto adjusts. It like tries to focus in on other things. And so there's times we've had her on the show and it starts focusing somewhere else other than her. I'm like, wait. That's not supposed to happen.
No. I
So
tell you
yeah.
what's also terrifying is that people have shared it online is when you have those, I guess it's TikTok or Snapchat, whichever, where you can have the little face icon appear in front of your face and anybody else's, but you'll have somebody there by themselves and all of a sudden another one will pop up where there shouldn't be a face. And they're looking around like, what is that? You know, that is scary. I've not tried one of those, but I probably should.
Well, it's funny because I did scare the snot out of her because I think we have from a video probably the first actual video documentation of a shadow person.
Yeah, and I'm definitely gonna have trouble sleeping tonight.
You should have known that. Every time we have Kevin on, you have trouble sleeping.
No.
I tell you
I'll
another
just start
thing.
running or something and fall out of bed and break my hip. And
Oh no!
Oh Lord!
There's
I'll have Tom call you in the morning.
Both Kevin and I are gonna feel guilty for the rest of the time.
I got another little story that probably scare the Dickens out of you.
Okay.
Scare the
You
Charles
guys are
Dickens
so
out of
kind.
you. That I was out on we were investigating a place. This was before pandemic, so it's got to be about 5 years ago. And one of my sensitive friends, Catherine, was with me, and a couple of other ones were with us doing the technical stuff. And she and I were doing kind of the sensitive stuff and taking pictures. And she kept picking up, it's a house that used to be a plantation, but the plantation home is gone. It collapsed years ago. So they cleared that out and put up a modern home. But the old slave house is still there. The cabin where the slaves used to live. And across the road from that, they call it the hanging tree, where they said that those who misbehaved were hung. So that was kind of eerie, standing looking across I would get chills every time I look over at that tree when she told me about that. But we go in the house and she said, one of them is in here. My friend Catherine, who's very sensitive, she goes, one of them's in here and he's talking. Boy, is he talking. And boy, is he not happy. And we're taking pictures. And here's why I tell people, when you get those dark pictures, because with the house had no electricity, we had our own lights going, so a lot of the pictures came out in dark where you can see us, but the background's dark.
Right.
If you don't see anything, don't immediately toss those pictures. Always brighten the photo to see what's going on in the background, because one of our photos, I can't remember if I was in it. I think it was me and Catherine were hamming it up, for a picture, and in the doorway in the background, you couldn't see it till we brightened up the picture and the shadows went away. You can clearly see the door, and there's this see-through apparition of a man hanging like this,
Oh,
with his
shoot.
mouth open. And that gave me the willies. Catherine sent that to me. She said, look at that. Look, we got it. She sent it to all these other investigators that we work with. She said, that's the one I heard that kept talking, and he was not happy. And we didn't stay there long. We felt like, we need to get out of here. The other thing, though, there was a dead cat right outside that was stinking like all to be danged. So the smell was getting to us.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Poor little cat.
You remind me, that story reminds me of watching the Ghost Brothers on an episode, and they're at a plantation, and the guy's sitting in a room, and he hears like the boots walk up behind him. He's like, I'm out of here. He's like, yep, that would be me too.
I don't do this anymore.
See, I'm the boob that goes running toward it. When I spent one of the nights I spent at Myrtle's plantation, the little girl spirits, I always attract the children because for a long time I was a Sunday school teacher in the children's department at church for 10 years.
Right.
And I loved those kids. They loved me. They would always come around me, and the spirit children do that. So anytime I'm at Myrtle's, those little girls that haunt the place are always in that room I stay in. And I was sitting, it was that big, it's the only downstairs bed and breakfast room they have open in the mansion. That Bradford, General Bradford suite. And it's got a
Right.
sitting room and it's got the bedroom. And I was in the sitting room and I'm watching, they don't have TV or anything like that. So I had to take a portable DVD player. This is way back, 2006, when we still watched DVDs. And
I still watch
I
DVDs.
still do. I still
Right.
do. But I've got my portable DVD player, and I'm sitting there on that antique couch watching it. And I glance up because I thought I saw some. I look up, and the doorway to the bedroom, there's clear as day a little girl. She could have been more than 4 years old, was peeking around the doorway at me. And when I look up at her, and I could see the little curl of her hair, I could see the ruffled shoulder of her dress, like something from the 1800s. And she's looking at me. She darts back like that.
Mm.
And most people that I know probably would have gotten up and ran out the door. But I got up
Yeah.
and started toward her going, no, come back. I'd love to talk to you. I go in the bedroom looking for her. And I laughed about it later because I thought, really, I should have gone the other way. But I chased after her. I
Yeah.
went after her, calling for her. I said, I'd love to talk to you. I had my camera just in case. And I must have scared her off. But the next day, I told the lady in the kitchen when they were doing the breakfast about it. I said that I saw one of your little girls there, and she said, "Let me guess, green ruffled dress, reddish brown hair, almost 4 years old." I said, "You just nailed it. I saw even the green ruffle on her dress." She goes, "She's a little peeker. She likes to peek around the door frame." She said, "Just last week we had a psychic staying in there that said that little girl kept peeking in the bathroom door at her, watching her put her makeup on, and she could see her in the mirror behind her."
Jeez.
So I said, "Well, I can confirm she ain't lying because I saw it too."
Well, it's funny you mentioned the Sunday school thing, because I was a Sunday school teacher too.
I was too.
Well, what's funny is when I'd come out, I'd have all these kids hanging off of me, and I'd be walking, and all the adults are like, no, stop. But the kids were having fun. They enjoyed going to the school and learning and stuff. Well, the last house we lived in, one of the spirits, we know for sure, because not only did I see him, my wife saw him, and so did the team that was investigating. And they actually caught video of him doing peekaboo from behind the refrigerator. And so it was like, whoa. And now let's give you a description. This was a little boy who was wearing knickers. Remember what knickers are, where they kind of tie up around the knees. And you got the socks. Yes. And this was the little boy that was there. And when they did do an EVP session, they asked, "Why are you here?" And he said, because he enjoyed. Now they got it in parts, but that he enjoyed me teaching Sunday school and how much fun the kids had. So he somehow attached to me for that.
Aww.
Like, okay, that's cool, but at the same time, I don't want to be scared. Because there was times that, not Romy, but I had another cat named Baby, and there was times that Baby was chasing and playing with something, and it was the little boy. My cat was actually playing with this ghost. And so it was interesting. It was a very unique thing. Now, I can't say I've ever had, to this day, I pray to God, no, any kind of possessed item, haunted item, I guess. but listening to the stories like Annie with her picture and these dolls, this really it starts to make you wonder what other items technically do have attachments that just haven't revealed themselves yet.
Right. I had a friend that she bought I don't know if it was a desk and a chair or a chair. Now, this was before Tom and I got married, and she was saying that this thing is haunted. So, we had gone up there so I could meet her and, talk about the wedding because she was going to be my matron of honor. And this was in Jersey or something. So we spent the night, but the only thing was we slept on the couch. He slept. I did not sleep because I was so damn scared about this chair. That was just, no. Nope, I don't really buy anything anymore. I like pictures and stuff, but after that one, no. I don't know. The older I get, the more cautious I get, or something. I don't know.
I think it's because we've been in this field for far too long, because it's kind of like, yeah, do I really need that in my house? No.
Well, yeah, because I got a friend who needs some equipment, and I'm going to send him some because it's like I know what's going on in this house.
Right.
I've had the ghost box. I don't want to know anymore.
Yeah.
I want to just sit here and be ignorant in my old age. No, I'm done. I'm totally done. And I remember what Mary said, and then my friend Stacy, and it kind of wore them down.
Yeah.
Physically, and their health declined, and they both passed. And I was like, no, I'm done with this. I'm hanging that up.
Yeah, that's true. Kevin, I have to ask this question. Is there a point where you're going to say, okay, I'm done?
Well, he's just a youngin'.
I wonder that. I'm a youngin'.
He's still young.
Yeah, he's a youngin'.
I don't know. I mean, the only reason I would is because, and right now, kind of it's happening is I'm running out of room, but I don't ever want to
You
stop.
just need a bigger house.
Yeah,
Right.
I got a bigger house now. I need another bigger house.
There you
Why
go.
don't you just why don't you just buy a warehouse?
We're both looking in the same direction. Look at that.
I told you. I've been trying not to
Yeah.
look her in the eyes now. Okay.
So we're both looking the same. This is so cool. But but yeah, I don't know if I'll ever stop. But I'll tell you, yeah, my dad, now that he's having to live with me, he had two back-to-back heart attacks within weeks of each other.
Oh, I'm
Oh
so
my
sorry.
gosh, I'm sorry.
My mom had passed away a few years before that, so it was just him and my disabled brother living alone. So we got him down here, and yeah, he always grumbles, oh, I can't believe you got all these dolls. Blah, 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 blah. I said, hey, I told you if you come live here, you're going to have dolls to deal with. But I don't put them anywhere in his area of the house, so
Right.
they're here in my area. So yeah, we got a house big enough to house both of us and my collection. And which surprised me. I got everything in here, including the big old haunted doll house I have over there. But I got them all in here.
Doll house?
Yeah, I've got a big old haunted doll house over there. It's on. I've got a YouTube. It's on a YouTube video. I keep scratching my nose. It's on a YouTube video I did about 5 years ago, I guess. So it's out there. I got a whole 30-minute video getting EVPs off of that thing. Apparently the guy that built it now haunts it.
Oh, lovely.
He built it for his grandchildren back in 1959. And I found it at an old antique doll store here that we have not far from me, where I've gotten a couple of my dolls from. And eerily enough, when she got that, the lady that's the proprietor of that store, she got that dollhouse, and not long after, they would come in the morning and find price tags pulled off of the dolls and laying on the floor. And she'd put them back on, and the next morning come back in, price tags are laying on the floor again. And they're not big on ghosts and things like that, but she thought that was pretty eerie and coincidence, because she knew what I
There's
do,
no
that I do
such
haunted
thing as
dolls and
good.
stuff. But
Right. Sorry, I don't have that one that I found, but
you got
I did find one that.
the Warrens. There's the first Paracon they did, and look at all that.
Mm.
And
Let
they
me
have
ask you something, Kevin, if you don't mind.
yes.
If you go into a say an antique store, does something like draw you to like a certain doll, or
Sometimes it does. I've seen some creepy things happen. In fact, me and Catherine, the sensitive friend I was talking about earlier, were in the Chelsea antique shop, and we walked all around. We came back, and there was a doll sitting in one of the booths that had not been sitting there before. And she even pointed out, she goes, "That doll was not here before." And I felt a pull, and that happens sometimes. And when that happens, I'm going to buy that sucker unless they want an outlandish price for it. But yeah, that's happened. Oh, there's the screen used Annabelle from Annabelle Comes Home.
I saw that. I read that sign, and I'm like, why do they have a crucifix on the door?
I think that was I think it was on there for the movie. I think that's the
Okay, okay,
actual, I think that might be the case it was in, or maybe they just did it and put that on there as a decoration.
yeah. The
But
Conjuring Mirror. I guess I'm gonna have to watch this movie
yeah,
to
yeah,
see
that,
me
what.
too.
that dinosaur toy dinosaur, that's from The Conjuring 3. That was involved. I don't think they mentioned it in the movie, but that dinosaur came from that incident. The little boy that was possessed originally, he said it came out of that dinosaur.
Oh, I'll have to watch
And
that again too.
but he, it starts out he's possessed, and then it's his older brother, I think, yells at the demon, "Come out and take me!" And then the brother gets possessed, and he's the one that murders his friend and goes on trial.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
they had things,
I have that book.
yeah,
What was no something no.
the devil
Oh,
made
I'll
me
have
do
to
it.
look. It's something about Connecticut,
Yeah,
but I
and
can't remember the name of it.
and that's another thing. That guy that happened to, the man who was possessed and murdered, he was there at this convention. He did a speech, and I got to meet him. He's an
Oh
older
wow!
guy now. I think he was in prison for 5 years, and they let him out.
This is the problem I have. If she says, and I'm just making it. I'm not trying to invite anything, but if she's as dangerous as they made her out to be, why would they even put it in a chance for her to cause any harm? Period.
I know, because you're in a hotel and just inviting. There's all kinds of bodies in that hotel. uh,
Yes.
I wondered that, and I saw Tony Sparrow. I got to meet Judy Warren too. She was there. She's such a sweetheart, just like her mama was. But I wanted to ask Tony that, and he never slowed down long enough. But I wondered that myself. I guess
Yeah.
they think since she's in that case, there's nothing going to happen. I
Well,
don't
but
think
I
I'd
know
feel
that the case.
comfortable.
Yeah, I know the case was blessed, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, look at what happened even after that. And here's another thing about the Warrens Museum that a lot of people don't know is that the Warrens invited a priest in every single week to bless every
Yes.
item in that place
Yes.
to ward off all kinds of evil as much as they could. That was their goal, to keep it that way. So some of these artifacts, maybe they wouldn't possess as much danger because it's already cleansed or whatever, but we know that as long as Annabelle's been in that museum, she's still
And
what
that
the
doll,
heck?
that's the other doll that's very dangerous. They said that doll has caused a couple of deaths.
I don't know about
So
this doll. What is this doll?
it's a witch doll that's actually made out of animal bones. The shadow doll. It's made out of bones and twigs. A witch made that thing, and they used it for voodoo. I
So
don't know
this
if you
doll,
can read
which
it there.
was used to curse a person, was crafted from a number of items, including animal bones, feathers, and a human tooth, and used to curse someone. It worked like this: a photo of the doll would be taken with the victim's name written on the back. A spell would be cast over the photo, which would then be sealed in an envelope and sent to the victim. When the victim opened the envelope and looked at the photo, the curse was placed. The shadow doll would come to the victim in their dreams and stop their heart. Okay.
Okay, moving on.
That's actually, I've never heard of this doll. This is the first time I've heard of it.
I'd heard of. It took me a while to hear about it. It was right before this con that I finally heard about it.
Oh my
And I
God,
think
that's what I look like in the morning.
I think that was one of Lorraine's playful decorations that she had in there that's not really haunted.
Okay.
It's something funny that she got.
Yeah,
Put in
that's
there.
what
In
I look
fact,
like when I don't get my coffee. Give me my coffee. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we all look like that before coffee. In fact, I'm gonna go get some. So
Yeah.
She's like, I'm never going to sleep again thanks to you two.
yeah, gonna get you.
Now I think in our last the last time we talked to you, I think we talked about the haunted doll island.
Yes.
Oh, is that the one in Mexico?
Yeah. You have to. The only way
That
to
would
get
be
to it is by
interesting to go
boat.
to.
It does sound interesting.
I need to plug my laptop in because the battery's going down. So I'm just going to plug it in right quick and I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. So real quick, folks, if you haven't noticed it, while some of the times that Kevin's been talking, we have been sharing the image of his newest book, which is available to be purchased now at Amazon. And that is this wonderful book right here. It's called Urban Darkness, Tales from Legends and Lore.
Yep.
And here in a brief moment, we'll have Kevin tell us about this book. Because,
yeah, I just need to
welcome
plug
back.
this in so the battery don't die on us. There we go. And let me get my little protector back over here so we don't get any more internet problems.
So, Kevin, tell us about your newest book.
So, Urban Darkness, and that's been kind of years in the making. I love urban legends. I've loved them since I was a kid, and I had a babysitter tell me a scary story that is in fact included in let me point the right way in this book.
I do the same thing, so yeah.
She told me some a good scary story that I thought was real, and it turned out it was just an urban legend when I found out later. But for a while now, I kept saying, I'm going to write a book where I'm just going to make stories based on urban legends. I love the movie Urban Legend. That was
that was a good movie.
It was.
Yeah. And in fact, they're about to reboot that, I heard. But getting back to the book here. So I picked some of my favorite urban legends, and in some cases I combined the stories. Like I took the old Cropsey legend and the hook on the car door and put it into one story. And there's another one where there's another one I took two of them and put them together. I can't remember which one it was now, but a couple of stories I put two urban legends in one story. Oh yeah, I took the roommate's death and the someone's in the back seat and combined it into one story.
Boy.
And then I used the babysitter and the man upstairs, and I threw a little nod in there to one of my favorite horror movies, Black Christmas, that was based on that. And so, I just had fun with it. I wrote my own fictional creative stories, my own twists on these urban legends.
Right.
And also some of the
Yeah.
horror movie inspirations I've had, like Friday the 13th and Halloween. There's little nods in there. One of them's a summer camp story. So obviously, first thing you think of is Friday the 13th. But I had fun with it.
No, actually, I don't think of that. I always think about people saying that one comment. One time at band camp. Really?
One time at band camp. Why is it always band camp?
Right? Do you go to any other camp? No.
You never hear one time at Girl Scout camp. No, it's always one time at band camp.
Yep.
I remember at
Exactly.
band camp. I had my first fill in the blank at band camp.
So, folks, you can actually get his books at Amazon or at his website, which is posted right there by his name, myhauntedDolls.com. And you got a chance to get them autographed. Other way.
The other way.
My $100.
Well, he's on my left. That's it.
I can have her point
So-
to it there. There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Thank you, Alice.
So, Kevin, we definitely got to get you back because I know
Yes.
there's so much. We barely even still. This is how many times now? I know it's been a couple of years since we've had you on, but 2
Oh, it
years.
seems like less than
Yeah.
that, but the time's flying for me. So
I know, same here. You know, I was talking to Annie about booking you, and the first thing I came across was, well, I know it's been a while since we've had him on, but not that long ago. And I went and looked it up, and it was over 2 years. I was
Yeah.
like, what?
how's it been
Wow,
that
I feel like we
long?
just, yeah, I know. It feels like we just did it. But
Yeah, I thought maybe late last year or early this year.
Right?
I thought there was a dang.
it's been a while now. So
Good
I
grief.
Well, look,
definitely,
tomorrow's the last day of September already.
I know
Yeah.
we're going into October.
And you
We
know what
already-
that means, Mr. EW?
Candy?
No, you
Happy,
know.
happy Halloween, Halloween.
Yeah, it's the only time they come out with candy corn, and you're just like, yes.
You like candy corn?
love it.
I
I
love it,
love it.
but I
love
can't
candy
eat that
corn.
much. I'm just not one of those people who can eat a lot of sweets.
I like to take it and mix it up with peanuts and eat them at the same time. It's like a payday candy
Ooh.
bar.
I heard
Ooh.
that. I'm going to have to try that.
Thank
My
you.
mom
I'm going
introduced
to
me to
try
that.
that.
Okay,
I'm
I'm going
definitely
to
gonna
write
try
that on the list. I'm going to get some candy
Yeah.
corn peanuts.
She'd
You
take
get
candy
the
corn
salted, you
and
get the salted kind, right?
yeah, she'd get
The
the
roast
salted
salted.
peanuts and the candy
Yeah,
corn
come
and
on.
put them in a freezer bag, shake them up, and just eat them out of the bag.
There's nothing
Got
better
it.
than salted
Okay.
peanuts. Come on.
What? I'm hungry.
But I do have to mention real quick before we do run out of time
Oh, man.
is next week we have another great guest who's going to be here, and he's going to be talking about the new season of his show that's already airing. They just aired their first episode yesterday or the day before. So we'll talk about that. Then we should have our a special guest for Friday the 13th.
Ooh. I'm going to
Yeah.
be on an investigation that night.
Really? What do you?
Yeah.
Where are you guys investigating?
The Homewood Public Library. We do it at least once or twice a year. Kim Johnston, our team leader and fellow author, she likes to host them at the Homewood Library. It is a very haunted place, and I always take a couple of haunted dolls with me. In fact, I think I'm going to take her. And
Yeah.
so,
I
'cause
just
it always
say every time I think of haunted library, I think of Ghostbusters.
I didn't
Well,
think
this
about
one-
it until you said it. Yes.
Yeah.
This one used to be an old farm land there, and then a church bought it decades ago and tore down the farmhouse and built their church building there. And then they moved out back in the 70s and sold the building to the city, who turned it into a library. So they have ghosts there from the old farm. They have ghosts from the church there. We've gone in with cameras and voice recorders and done a mock service where I stand up there and read from the Bible like I'm a preacher in the old sanctuary that's now the adult library section. And we've played back well, not that kind of adult, but
Oh, I was going to say, oh,
I didn't think that.
the grown-up people where they can read, but
sorry.
but I would do a mock preaching for a few minutes, and then we would play. It was a Church of Christ, so we'd play songs online where they don't have music; they're just singing because that's how they do it. And we would stop the music, and on playback, we've caught voices. One of them, I got a woman saying, "Amen," way off in the
Wow.
background, and we didn't hear that live. It only showed up on the recording. We've gotten high-heeled feet walking across the floor where nobody was in the room, just all kinds of stuff. And we get on the spirit box. Sometimes we get the older women that used to live on the farm there, and they're not happy. Boy, they get to chewing because they don't like that their farm is gone.
Yeah,
One
I
of them
could
said something
imagine.
on the box like, "I wanted fried chicken" or something like that on the spirit box.
God.
I'm with her. Some fried chicken would go good right now.
I have one dream place to try to get in and investigate, but they have yet to let a team in to do it. The Alamo.
Oh yeah.
Don't forget to go in the basement.
There ain't no
Oh,
basement in the Alamo.
yeah, you never do see
Pee-wee
investigations there.
Herman, come on.
There
I
ain't no
noticed
basement in the Alamo.
there ain't none.
No.
I
Oh,
didn't
come
know.
on. I was doing that thing with Pee Wee Herman, so the late Paul Rubens, yeah.
Yeah, sad he died though. That's
Yeah, I was
Oh
very
yeah.
sad. And
actually somebody I
lost-
really liked passed away this week, and I was sad. Ducky from NCIS.
yeah, you know, I got him
Oh
hanging on
yeah.
my wall. Do
Yeah.
you
I
like
saw
him,
that.
Kevin?
I didn't really
You
know
like
that.
autographs, right?
Yeah, I do. You said it was NCIS. Is that what he was
Yeah.
on?
Yeah, he's up there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With,
well,
he's
he was
standing in front of
also
them.
in Man from Uncle, the original
Oh
series.
yeah.
And I used to watch that when I was a little girl with my grandma.
Yeah, my mom watched a lot of NCIS, so I knew who he was. I never got his autograph because
Yeah, well,
I
I
didn't
got
watch
it.
the show myself, but I knew who he was. I remember my mom
Yeah,
I said she would have been heartbroken. But what
yeah.
really would have killed
I was just, because it came the day after my dad was gone for 10 years. And
yeah.
Oh.
Dave McCullum, Brooks Robinson died, which of course is one of my favorite ball players. And it was just been a rough week.
I'm surprised she didn't mention Dumbledore.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I
that
was
guy.
thinking there's somebody else too.
Yeah,
That was
the Harry Potter
Dumbledore.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that
Oh,
too. I recognized his
my
face.
Oriole hat, guys.
Oriole?
Yeah.
Braves,
AL East yesterday.
Atlanta Braves, Atlanta Braves.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, did I say that out loud? Um,
We have a friend from Baltimore loves Orioles, Tom Hauser. He's born and raised in Baltimore. He loves
Yeah,
the
me
Orioles.
too.
yeah, I'm afraid for next week because next week the gentleman is going to be on is also a Baltimore fan. So
Of course he is.
I know it's going to be all about that. Oh, speaking of which, on the 27th that's a Friday, and obviously Halloween doesn't fall on our Friday this year. So we are going to have a special zombie in the house to talk about some Halloween fun. So
Cool.
forgot about that one. Anyway, well, Kevin, thank you for joining us again. It's always a blast having you on, and man, I feel like we
Thank you.
never have enough time.
Yeah, I'm
Annie
sorry
needs
they
to get-
messed me up in there
Yeah,
earlier.
I'm the one
sorry
that's
about
got
that.
to do it because I got to rock and roll here.
Yeah, she's got to get a new computer or a better battery.
Well, with the thing, I don't know how that one's going to work either. So
Well,
I'm working on it.
we got to do some test runs,
Yeah,
but we'll
get
get
you one
you
of these
there.
HD,
Yeah.
these high def.
Right?
This thing, I'm not sure how it's going to exactly work, but it's kind of nice to know that I've got something to back it up. But if I could only get my Mystery Manor over there, this thing is going into the garage or something.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for tuning in, and
Yes.
we'll
Kevin,
definitely
thank you
be
so
back.
much. And good night,
Thank
Miss
you.
Alice.
Yes.
Good night.
I got that EVP. Did you hear that? No, I'm just kidding.
I heard it live.
Right?